catalyst for change with the chance to thrive. Crystal is the one to stir up gifts and save lives. You get exposure, promotion, and marketing too. And advertise for business owners just like you. On Storytime, your interview is global. Virtual or in person, just come on the show. Yo, your story matters. Crystals will open the door. 40 years of experience, ready to give you more on Storytime. Get ready for Storytime. Hey, come on.
I'm going to remove this from the screen so you can see me. And I just want to say thank you so much for your patience. Hello, how you doing? Listen, let me tell you something. Technical things was happening like you wouldn't believe tonight, but I thank y'all for your patience. I see you in the room. I see you in the room. Sharon, you had some love in the room tonight. Oh my goodness. Let me see the people in there tonight. Let me just tell y'all a little bit. You are watching Storytime, all right? If you know anything about computers, you know sometimes they will do what they want to do. And they were trying to do that to me tonight, but I refused to give in. And I was like, no, this show must go on and we're going to make this thing happen like it do. So while you're here, now that we're here, I want you to tell a few friends that we're here. Let them know we are getting ready to hear the Sharon Leonard story. Okay, please let them know that. And when they come, we'd like to ask you to like, comment, and subscribe. All right. And we are excited about what we are getting ready to share with you with this young lady. A beautiful soul that I have known for a little while, and I'm just excited to have her here. And I'm not going to keep you too long because I know you've already waited. You've been waiting, you've been patient, and so that just would not be fair to you. But I want to say thank you for your patience because sometimes things do happen that are out of our control, and tonight was one of them. But we got a young lady, a special young lady that's coming to the stage, guys. And her name is Sharon Leonard. And if you know her, then you know what I mean. And we are just excited to bring her up on the stage. She's waited so patiently, and I thank her for her patience. And we're going to bring her up and get this going. And we want to welcome her and make her feel welcome with a round of applause. Sharon, are you there? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Thank you. Thank you for your patience. How you doing, dear?
I'm doing well, Crystal. How are you?
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. You heard what I was going through as you would listen. You probably was like, Lord have mercy. But this is what happens when we get into show business, when we get out here, when we put ourselves out here, you know, there's a thing where they say you have to stay ready so you don't have to get ready. Yeah. And, you know, you just have to always just be rooted and grounded and just stay calm and just do what you have to do. And sometimes it calls for patience. But you have some love out there. You have some people out there.
We actually were praying.
Yes. See, that's what I'm talking about. Praying folks out there in the room. That's what it takes. You know, on that note, my goodness, you know, Sharon, you and I, we're gonna toast today. How about a good toast? We got to pray. Right? We're gonna toast to New Kingdom. If we out there, they toasted, and we're gonna
one of the best
right there. The prayers of the righteous availeth much. Okay, they avail much. So we thank y'all so much for that. And you know that when it happens, all you can do is trust in the Lord.
Right.
I don't understand. And that's what I was doing. I was sitting here going, okay. No, you're not trying me tonight. We're not doing this. And I was just making those quick adjustments. But let's see who's here. We got a couple people here, Sharon. I want you to see who's here in case you can't see them. I want you to know who is in the room waiting patiently. Okay, we have someone, Catrice Richardson says hello. Hi, Catrice. How you doing? Thank you for being there. Thank you for your patience, Catrice. We have Mike in the building. Hey, Polly. Okay. We got a nickname going on right now. Okay, we have Almeda Coleman in the building. Almeda Coleman says hello. Okay, and then we have Polly. How you say your last name is Polly? Is it Shield? I don't want to pronounce
Shield.
All right, we got Miss Polly in the building. All right, we have Rochelle Richardson that popped in. She says, "Yay!" She's so excited for you. Okay, and I hear somebody else said, "Yes, Lord." They must be one of the praying folk that was on the prayer team for us. Okay, and we also have Priscilla in the building. Priscilla Staley.
My
All right.
auntie.
Okay, we got Auntie in the building. And Miss Polly put a good word out there. Miss Polly said, Lord, you know how to work out the tech issues. Give the team your wisdom to get it worked out. Give Sharon peace while she waits. Thank you for that, Miss. We got you right there, Miss Polly. So we had all that going on at the same time.
Yeah.
And we got another one that says anything for family. All right, Miss
My
Almeida.
cousin.
Thank you, Miss
Yeah.
Almeida. All right. So listen, you know what? This is good because I'm gonna tell you something. When you step out on faith, a lot of times you don't get this. So you're blessed. I want to tell you, you're blessed. We have Priscilla. She says she's happy to be here, you
Yeah.
know, and we're just grateful for your prayers. We're grateful for you and your prayers and everything that you were doing. So I thank you for your communication, your gift of communication, because the word said to do good is to communicate. And I want to say thank you for watching. And I definitely want to let you know we appreciate you. We have tonight, you're going to be listening to Sharon Leonard, the author of Ciara's Life. And I want you to know something. During her book launch, when we were there with Shiro Publishing, she hit the Amazon top 100 for her release in 3 categories. Not one, not two, but 3 categories. So we're going to get into her story. We're going to dive into it. But Sharon, you know, if you watched enough of my shows, you know that when I start out, I always start out with the beginning. I always like to start out with who is my guest and really let them go into explaining a little bit about the individual, because you have a lot of love in here. You have a lot of family, but there may be someone who just might Google and hear about your book and want to check you out, and they haven't quite met you yet. Okay.
Yeah.
So I would love it if you would take a moment and just tell the people for a quick second, who's Sharon Leonard? Who is Miss Leonard? Before she even became Sharon Leonard, she was a little girl. Who is Sharon, the little girl, before we even get started, before she became the mother and the author and the wife? Who is Sharon?
Wow. So I am Sharon Leonard. And yes, I was born in Manhattan, New York. And at the age of 11, I moved here with my great aunts. We were raised by a village. I moved here when I was 11. And so growing up, well, part of my life in the city, I was a lover of snow. And so walking to school with the snow up to my knees, I love the city very much. I was actually very sad when we had to move to North Carolina. But the family here embraced us so much and raised us with such core values. And just being here, years later, I decided to go to college. And so when I went off to college, I remained in Raleigh, North Carolina from 89 until about 2021. We decided to move to Johnston County. And so that's my backdrop. Growing up as a kid, I'm the oldest of 6, and boss lady, AKA. My siblings love for me to boss them around. But no, I got married at the age of 25 to Ciara and Jerry's dad. Wonderful person, and wonderful father. I could have not done this journey without him. And so we had our marriage, and unfortunately, we did divorce, but we have remained good friends and still good parents to our son and our late Ciara. I can't hear you, Crystal.
I want to stop you right there. I want to say first and foremost, I didn't want you to hear me moving around when you were talking, so I hit the mute button. But I want to say this: kudos to you for remaining cordial with your ex. I did too. A lot of people can't do that, you know, and there's a lot of issues with co-parenting. And so that's a blessing. That's a blessing that you were able to do that. But I want to back up a little bit first. And I heard you say to the late Ciara. We know you wrote the book because of her passing, and you recently had another passing. So I want to pause for a moment
Yeah.
to say that I want to offer you my prayers, my hugs, and just continual blessings for the new adjustments that you're having to make with the changes that have taken place in your life.
Yeah.
Because it is a part of the process, and we know that the word says we shall not all sleep, but we also know that those that have a relationship with the Lord, that they're going on and they're living a good life. They done left us here and they're living a good life, right?
Right.
I want to definitely just give you a minute to show you some love for the recent passing of your mom,
Yeah.
and even the passing of your daughter, which caused you to write this book,
Yeah.
and the family that you came up, apparently it's a loving family. They're all
Yeah.
here. They're giving you love. They're giving you
Yeah.
support. How important is that? Some people don't have that kind of love. I told you when you put that book out, the kind of love you received when you made your sales, I said, you have some serious support. So that's
Yeah,
a
I
testament to who
do.
you are too. But
Yeah.
talk to me about what that feels like to have that kind of support and how appreciative you are to have that.
I am very blessed. Um, I just believe that God's hand has always been on my life, and I believe that He's always watched over me. No matter what has gone on in my life, I believe that He's always been with me. And so, even in all my transitions from being a little girl unto my transition to my daughter and my mom, having the village shift, it was some transitions. You can't carry everyone when you start losing things
Yes,
and
yes,
going through transitions.
yes,
But what I decided to do as far as my support system is God sent them, I received them.
yes.
And that's the thing. You can't pick who's going to be for you.
Wow.
God can pick who's going to be there for you. Our responsibility is to receive from God. Whatever He does, I always pray, whatever He does, don't do it without me.
Mm,
So I've just been so very blessed that those in different seasons, God strategically put loved ones, friends, people I didn't even know in my life to bless me, whether all kinds of ways. And whether it was a silent prayer or just a text or call or anything, and it's been wonderful. But to Him I owe. I just thank God so much for the blessings of the Lord do make it rich and addeth no sorrow. So I'm just so grateful to have had that support. Yeah.
And Sharon, did you have a call to ministry as well? And when did that take
Yeah.
place somewhere? Because I think
Oh, I was so young. I think like 29, 30. I might have been younger than that. I don't remember exactly what age I was. I was called into ministry, but looking back then we were in this era where if you're calling to ministry, you do your initial sermon. So I did my initial sermon, but I didn't really walk into ministry and embrace the calling of ministry until this year. I mean, I've preached sermons before, way back in the day, but I took I would say, a sit down or a pause or a reflection to grow up, to
Mhm,
mature in the things of God, and
mhm,
to be taught by Him how to carry this calling, because I
mhm,
kept falling. If you
mhm,
don't, if you go out of season with any ministry, you're gonna make a train wreck. So I
mhm,
paused, I sat down, and I'm thankful that I did, because now that I'm getting up different. I'm getting up in a different transformation. When Ciara died, a part of me died,
mm,
but now is a new birth. It's a new me. I don't even know who I was then, because I've changed so much internally
mhm,
through her loss and
mhm.
through even other losses. And even with that being said, healing. So I didn't really embrace ministry until this year.
Wow, wow. Well, that's amazing. And you've shown a lot of strength. You've definitely shown a lot of strength. How did you know you were called? So many people say that. They say they've had a calling. And
Yeah.
as we talk about your baby girl, I want to show a picture here because
Mhm.
I look at this beautiful picture and that you have here. And I want to look at this picture and just show it. And I know that there are some tender moments. But how did you know that you were called? I mean, many
Yeah.
are called and few are chosen. How did you know?
I've always had a calling. Um, I didn't understand. I always had a deep desire to know God and to just know this entity that was bigger than me. And people talked about praying to God and God, trusting God. But I remember being about 7 or 8 years old back in the city, and we had this little black and white TV. And I will always turn it on Sunday mornings to watch Oral Roberts, or my favorite was Frederick Price. And so it wasn't a Sunday that I was like, turn the TV, I got to watch. And I'm like 7 or 8. And I hear them talk about this God. And I said, I want to know this God. I want to know this. So I just believe that I always had it in me, this desire to fellowship with the Father.
Mm.
I didn't understand. I grew up in a Methodist church, which was awesome in a foundational way. But still, you was preaching to me and teaching me about something that I hadn't yet experienced as far as a relationship. So I just felt this, always felt this calling, this desire to draw closer to God. I remember around, I think I was like 13 or 14. And I remember my pastor, Dr. R.L. Sanders. Oh man, he was a awesome man of God at the AME church. And so, so I remember him saying, "There's a calling on your life." But I hadn't even gotten saved then, and I didn't understand. Like, what do you mean? He's like, "There's a calling. You keep doing what you're doing." And that Sunday, I had felt the Spirit on me. So I
Mm.
went to praising God in the AME church, and they looking like, what's going on with her? Because we didn't do that in there. We didn't do that. And so he said, you keep seeking, you keep searching, and God's got a calling on your life. And that was the first time I audibly heard someone else tell me that after the tugging when I was younger. So I knew
Hmm.
it was something, but I fought it. I gave it all I got to run from it.
Wow. Wow. Okay. Okay. So after you receive this calling, and I'm doing this because maybe this will help somebody. After you receive this calling, did you answer the call or did you run from the call? So many people out here, so many people say they ran,
Yeah,
and they don't run intentionally, but they avoid, they ignore, they do
yeah,
things to act like they don't hear it, or
yeah,
sometimes they don't understand and hear from God. So I
yeah,
just want you to talk for a moment. I don't want to skip that because that's so important
yeah,
about the receiving the call, understanding the call,
yeah,
and recognizing, no, I'm not ready to do that yet, Lord, and communicating back and forth, or just not even really recognizing the call, even before it was prophesied to you, or even before he said that.
yeah.
When did you feel it, and how did you initially respond when you felt the call?
So when I gave my life to Christ in 1989, I began to work in ministry. I was taught that you clean bathrooms, you do floors, you sing in a choir, you usher, you do all the things, you pray. So I was taught how to pray. I was taught how to fast. I was really being groomed in such a way in the things of God and having that foundation. And about 10 years into that, my pastor at the time, she called me out and said, it's time for you to, preach the gospel. It's in you, and I was like, I mean, I didn't, and I struggled with it because I was looking at me and how I saw myself not being enough. Growing up, I always felt like I was not enough, and that held me back from everything, like the bad choices I made, the company I kept, because I always was like, I want to be loved, but I felt like I was never enough to be loved, and that was deeply embedded in me growing up. When you don't have your father, or you don't know your biological father, I didn't have that affirmation. My mom was going through some transitions in her life where she was not always present. And so I felt like, well, I could be there for everyone else, and that was good, being there for my younger siblings, stepping in the role to mom. But I still felt like I was not enough to be loved in such a way. So when the calling came, I was like, I don't know, you're not talking about me. I mean, it's one thing to have a relationship with you and serve God, but to handle your word or to handle people in ministry, I was already dropping the ball. I was already, because I didn't believe in the one who called me. I was looking outside at people. I was looking at, oh, I want to be like that. And I hadn't even walked in my own identity. I hadn't even accepted the love of God for me. And so so when I went through going through my separation and divorce, I took a moment, and I don't know if it's good, bad, or indifferent, but I sat down and I said, I need to figure out, who am I and who am I in God and who is God to me? So that was a turning point in my life when I stepped away from ministry in the pulpit, just to have ministry to myself. I believe now, looking back, if I would have had gotten ministry from God, sat at his feet and was mature enough. I just wasn't mature enough. And a lot of times we have these callings and we're walking and dropping the ball because we're not even ready. Our life ain't even cleaned up. We haven't even owned or had any accountability to God or maturity or even the heart of God to minister to people. You gotta like people. You gotta love people unconditionally. I was not there.
Wow. Amazing. And that's good teaching right there. That's good teaching right there. So being accountable, being honest, being transparent, and doing the work. Well, let me ask you something. So you talked about being divorced. You talked about that part of your life. And then I know at some point a new thing happened. And you met this man right here.
Him.
You met this man right here. Talk to me about how that came about and what God did there for you, because this, this young man is such a blessing.
Yeah.
Me knowing him personally and meeting him, and I call it, a second chance for love. Some people give up after the first time, so you were blessed. Talk to me about that blessing.
Honestly, I have been truly blessed by two of those wonderful men. Ciara's father, I will diverse a little bit. Ciara's father is just an amazing man, period. Just because our marriage didn't work out, he's just amazing father and amazing man, period. And so I call them my first family. Now here's to my second family, Mike and I. So we merged in somehow through work. He was kind of like, I like to say he was stalking me at work, but really,
Okay, you heard that right.
A little stalkish, but I was really going through just feeling really bad about what I had experienced as far as divorce. The divorce was very sad to me. Nobody goes into a marriage thinking that you're going to divorce. I most certainly didn't.
Right.
And when it happened, I was very, very depressed. That was one of the biggest loss then in my life. And then Mike came and I was broken all to pieces. And he still said, well, I'm going to love you. And that sounds so much like God. It sounds so much like God when we just can come to him as we are, broken, shattered, just a hot mess. And meeting him and him just accepting me in all of my bags, because I came with two children and an ex-husband. So he had to merge into all of that. And God did that. Wow. God has really done that over the years, and to God be the glory on that. But we worked at it. We fell out, we fell back in. We fell out, we disagreed, agreed. I mean, but we made it work, and God blessed our work. God blessed our prayers. God blessed every time that we decided to walk together in agreement, or when we decide that we weren't going to agree, but we're going to still walk together. Wow. And I look at us now, and I just thank God for what he is has done. And even in my own marriage, we came into this marriage one way, but 14 years later, we're not the same people. And I praise God for that.
He's smiling over there. I see you
Yeah.
smiling. You see you smiling. I think on that note, this is a good place. This is a good place to show the slideshow. So I
Okay.
took some of the things that you sent me to put it together to kind of show the flow of things. So let's pause for a moment
Okay.
and share the slideshow. I think that would be good. I think that people will enjoy it. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, you're watching Storytime, and I want to say thank you, thank you, thank you so much for being here. I want to remind you that if you have a story, let me know, because we would love to share. But right now, what we're going to do is take a moment and share this blessing with you, and we hope you enjoy it. One moment. Now, when I look at that, and when I think about Ciara's light, and I think about this phase in your life where you came up with this concept, and I saw a lot of pictures on your page. A lot of people have supported and gotten the book, and we're going to make sure that we do put it up there so you can get the book. We're going to make sure we put it up there. Great marketing. Shout out to Shiro Publishing for the great marketing. So, facing tragedy with forgiveness is the powerful true story of a mother's worst nightmare and her unwavering faith in the aftermath. And when Sharon lost her daughter Ciara in a sudden car accident, her world shattered. Through raw storytelling and heartfelt reflection, Sharon takes readers on a deeply personal journey through grief, healing, and a courageous decision to forgive the man responsible. I want to stop right there. I want to stop right there because I cannot skip past that part right there. So for those who don't know, this tragedy that happened was the fault of another human being. And first, you went through a process before you even got to this phase of writing this book. You went through a process, and the process that you went through, I know wasn't easy, and it caused you to have to go through some changes. And you shared this once at a women's conference that we attended. Do you mind for a moment just kind of taking us through the process? Because the way you forgave this man and what you went through, I think that's the part of the story that people need to know about. People need to know about that part of the process. So I'm gonna let you do it the way you need to do it. But if you will share that, I think that is so important.
Well, none of this has all registered fully on the Richter scale that my daughter is gone. And it has been the last 4.5 years have been really, really challenging, in the least to say. And very early on, I wasn't really sure I was going to make it. I just hit so many emotions with this, and it drove me into counseling, and it just really I really could have caved in. But I thought about Ciara many days. When she was here, she would always say, "Mom, you got this. You can do this." She was always like cheering me on with whatever I was dealing with, whether it was at work or anything, Mom, you've got this. You're the strongest woman I know. And I had to fall back and remember why it was so important that I live. But during that time, I was so depressed. It took me a minute to get myself together. I went to counseling and I went into trauma therapy. Because grief counseling and trauma therapy counseling, they're two different things. I went into like a 90-day trauma workshop with just one-on-one, and that really sealed the deal on the grief counseling I was in for about over a year. And it helped me with coping skills, and it helped me, managing the emotions of grief. And I'm still grieving. Even with the book, writing the book and forgiving this young man, it doesn't take away the grief. I'm just learning how to put the pain in a purposeful way. And so it was hard. It still is very hard. I have, just in case, because I never know when I'm going to have a moment. And in reference to forgiving him, how that came about, I'm going to try to explain it, but how that came about, it was a decision that came immediately. It was a choice that I had to make immediately. Now, I know that people may not be able to do what I've done. I don't expect anyone, really to, it's a hard road when you can just forgive. So I had to make a decision to forgive so that I could start healing. When I forgave him, I unlocked a door that was locked to healing. It was like, forgive, now you have wide road to healing. And so that's how it all like panned out. And I know I probably just summarized it, but yeah.
That's the part that's so important, because a lot of time people don't know forgiveness is not for us, a lot of time, and what you did in that courtroom, you helped a lot of people that day.
Yeah.
And I mean, I know you shocked the judge and everybody else, but just to see your reaction, I mean, I can't even imagine. Even the person himself, he probably was stunned. He probably didn't believe it. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure he was probably like, wow, and then that he probably went through some things himself. So I want to commend you, first of all, for the growth, for the openness, for the willingness, for your faithfulness. You know what I'm saying? To the fruits of the Spirit. You know what I mean? So God bless you for that, and for your example that you are now setting for others by taking your whole journey and writing it out and giving people a blueprint for how to take a tragedy, and to forgive in the face of the tragedy.
Yeah. I think it's important, like, how we approach our trials and tribulations. Like, I think it's very important you have the will to live. I think it's very important that no matter what situation, at the time I had a cousin who was dealing with breast cancer. And I told her I didn't want to be in her shoes, and she told me she didn't want to be in my shoes. But it was shoes that neither one of us wanted to be in. But our approach was, I'm going to live through this. If we had that common ground, we're going to live through this.
Yes.
And I was so encouraged, by her and her fight, even though we didn't have the same thing we were fighting, but we had the same will to fight, to move beyond. And I thank God that as I'm healing, the Lord has healed her body and healing her, and I just, just that was a type of village I had. I had realistic villages. I had people that just weren't looking at me. Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't want to be a statistic or a victim. I didn't ask for any of this, but I do know that when things are happening in your life and you are a child of God, He is working that thing out for your good. While you're in it, you can't see the good until you are on this other side of it. Like he got to walk you through it. Sometimes we're not just going to get delivered. He going to carry, yea, though I walk through the shadow valley of death. He going to carry, walk you through that. And as you're going, walking through that, you learn trust.
Mm-hmm.
You learn a deeper faith.
Mm-hmm.
You learn how to trust God above man.
Yes.
There were times when I was leaning, trying to figure out, well, who could I call to help me? Who could I, and the Lord was always like, I'm here. I'm close to the broken heart. My heart would be so heavy. I would wish somebody would come and sit with me. I would wish, I didn't feel so invisible. I would wish that I didn't feel so alone. And it's not that I didn't have family or friends who didn't call or any of that. It's such a lonely walk when you've lost a child. It's just, you expect your parents to go. You expect your grandparents and older ones, but you never in your mind ever imagine losing a child. And so when this happened, I was like, what is the purpose in this, Lord? I don't want to ask you why. I want to know what am I gaining?
Right.
Because, if my tears got to be wasted and there's no happy ending here, that's all there is. Tears, and pain. But I realized that in this, there was a prompting 3.5 years later. Now it's time to write the book. And so I was already at a plateau of healing. But when I wrote this book and cried by every chapter, child, cried by, every chapter. But there was also a healing impartation in me as I began to write. And I wrote over summer, and it was so weird because when Ciara's anniversary came up, I was on the chapter of the funeral.
Wow.
That part, and it took us to our knees, and just thinking about the shock of it all. Still, there's moments I look at my phone or I walk past a picture in my home and I'm like, I cannot believe my baby is gone. I'm still readjusting and calibrating that pain, even in writing the book. And so out of the book comes, what can I do to show up for someone else?
Yes. Yes.
What can I do to help a mother not feel lonely or feel like she's alone? What could I do to sit with a mom so that she can feel like there's another mom who's experiencing a loss just similar to yours? And so I started a whole different path. But it's a path from, that tells the whole story. One thing that I think that is so good about the work that I'm doing, the ministry that I'm doing now, is that I get to carry Ciara's light in me. Yeah. And I get to leave a legacy not only to my son, but my entire family and community. Her light will always live on through me, but in her own right, in her own legacy. And so I thank God for that. I think God gets the glory when we can take our pain and turn it into a purpose to help someone else. So now my mission is to sit with moms, send them grief boxes free of charge, and just to recognize their pain, recognize that hard anniversary, that first anniversary, or that first death date, that birth date that they miss, because that first everything is so crucial and so painful.
Yeah, and you've created the website, and you created this ministry that is amazing. And again, never ceasing to amaze me with this, ladies and gentlemen. Take a look at what she has done here. I mean, this is just truly amazing. If you take a look at it, I'm going to show you a little bit. So the homepage it's called Grief's Light Outreach. So she's sending a Grief Light outreach box, and she'll walk with bereaving mom, still in her first, not even a good 2 years yet, sitting with bereaving mom through the process, rooting in her faith, sending out comfort boxes, okay? and community and remembrance, and they offer quiet roads. Okay, she has an upcoming event coming up, ladies and gentlemen. First event coming up, and she's going to be doing something. She's doing a book signing and a candlelight vigil on Saturday, November 15th. So I want you to mark that calendar. Saturday, November 15th. It's going to take place in Raleigh, North Carolina, and it's going to be from 4:30 to 6:30 p.m. at 5857 Barwell Road, 5857 Barwell Road in Raleigh, North Carolina. And this gathering is a faith-centered and open to healing moms and supportive friends and family. So once again, if you know anyone that just lost a child, they can go to her website, which is griefslight.com. And I'm going to type that up so you can see it, griefslight.com. But I want to let you know November 15th, 4:30 to 6:30. And before I move from that, is there anything that you would like to add to that part right there about what your expectation is on that day, Sharon?
Well, I'm just expecting a small crowd, a very intimate crowd who will come and just be with me. Many have bought my books. Some may come and buy books, which is wonderful. But Ciara would have been 25 years old this year. And I wanted to do something different to celebrate her life and her birth date. And so that's why the ideal of doing the book signing and the candlelight vigil. I would love for moms that have lost their children or their loved ones, any loved ones who want to come and remember their loved one. Is also open to the community, free of no charge. We will have like light hors d'oeuvres, and we will have actual candlelight moment of silence and be able to share some stories if you like to. Yeah, and so it's just an event for us to come together as a community, family and friends, and as a community to get together to remember our loved ones. And yeah, I don't mind selling books too and signing them.
And but the thing is, the purchase of your book is going towards the purpose of her helping other
Yes,
bereaving moms.
right.
So I
Yeah.
want to make that clear. The purchase of
Yes.
your copy of Ciara's Light is helping her to deal with her pain with purpose so that she can, light someone else's life, through the grief. So it's a powerful thing. So if you go to her website and you buy that, I just want you to understand what it's about. She is spreading Ciara's light, and it is a book that you can get online.
Mhm.
And her hopes is that with her honesty and her faith, that the moments of love, sorrow, resilience, and the quiet moments that God carried her through, that she can help you get through your pain too. Okay, you might not have a tragedy, you may just have a loss. So we understand everybody doesn't have a tragic loss. Some people just have losses, but a loss is a loss. You understand what I'm saying? So come as you are
Mhm.
and find hope and healing with Sharon together. You're going to find hope and healing together. And the invitation is for you to gather. And so you can get understanding. Maybe you're perplexed. And because she is also an ordained minister, she can help you. And then y'all can talk about the memories and deal with your pain if you want prayer. And correct me if I'm wrong. These are some things that you can do. And then maybe you might even be able to join in with her because maybe you need something to do. Maybe you have too much idle time. Sometimes idle time will do that. And then Sharon has a place here where she's going to be blogging. And
Yeah, I
she's
wrote a blog.
sharing, right? Talk to me about your idea about the blogging. And then speaker requests will come eventually where she'll be able to come out and share and bring her story of lost faith and light with honesty and grace to your place, to your church, to your event, to a group of people who may just need to be encouraged to go through this path. So we're so proud of you for the step that you're taking in just a year. Okay, I got to reiterate, in just a year, the step that you're taking in just a year is truly amazing.
You know,
Um,
I was just telling my husband, this has been a year that every step has been ordered of the Lord. I stopped working at the end of January. I stopped my full-time job and went into total retirement. because I really felt like it was time for me to just go in full-time ministry. And I told my husband, I said, I'm going to stop. I'm going to quit and I'm going to go in full-time ministry. He was like, okay, so what you got planned for tomorrow? I said, whatever the Lord has for me. And I'm telling you, each month it was something to do concerning ministry. And I have had the most fulfilling year, even though with a heavy heart. This is the kind of thing that God calls us to.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to have experiences, life experiences, human experiences, but we have to see God in them.
Mm-hmm.
And when I started looking differently at how God was moving in my life, it didn't erase the pain. It didn't take away the heaviness. It just brought purpose and brought him glory that I'm still standing. And it's in him that I live.
Mm-hmm.
In him that I have my own being. And so I thank God that I didn't write this book alone. I'm not giving these comfort boxes. He's already provided for me to give these boxes. I just sent one off to a mom in Maryland last week. And I was able to give one to another mom about 3 weeks ago and actually sit with that mom and listen to her pain. Sometimes I don't want to talk. I just want to sit with them, hold them, hug them, cry with them. And I did cry with them. But, just being able to extend myself that way brings me healing.
Now, let me ask you this question.
Mm-hmm.
How is your son doing? He lost his sister.
Oh, my goodness.
He lost his sister. And I know it might be a little bit different for him than it is for you. And I know that you keep an eye on him.
I do.
How is he embracing this process with you, with the grief light journey, with the book, how is that going?
So I asked my son, I said, are you gonna read, are you actually gonna read the book? He's like, probably not today. But he said, Mom, I remember him telling me, Mom, it's a good way to cope. And that thing just resonated with me because I didn't think about that. That's how he really sees it. And I was like, it is it's a part of coping, but it's also a way to open up an avenue of healing in those parts that haven't been healed yet. And so he is such a graceful young man. He's macho. That's how my son is. But I know he cries and I know he hurts. And I know that it's heavy for him at times. And I try not to bombard him. I try to tell him how much I love him and how much I care for him and how much his life is relevant, that his life still holds purpose beyond this pain. I always remind him of who he is and who he is to God. And I think, his passion, his tenacity come from good stock.
Yeah.
His dad and I was like, we fighters, his dad could have died in this situation.
Wow.
But he fought. He's a fighter. And when he came back home, I remember his father just working out and everything. I was like, slow down, bro. You got to take care. He's like, no, I'm going to live. And that's exactly what
that's right. He was in the car too, right?
Yes, he was the driver.
Wow, that's right. He was in the car.
So we come from very resilient, trust and believing, faith praying folk. We believe God. And like I said, I don't want to sugarcoat this and make it sound like that this is an easy journey. None of this. Watching my son go through different things and I can't physically know how to navigate with him. I seek the Lord and I ask him for wisdom.
Yes.
One thing I know how to do is just show up and be present. Like if you ever need me, as long as the good Lord keep me here, I'm here for you. And so I just think because he has such a good community, not only his stepfather and his biological father, but his whole aunts. He got aunts on my side. Aunts on his dad. He is so well loved and cared for and supported that's almost healing in itself for him to just grab hold and embrace at any time.
So tell me about the importance of what Mike does. Like for those who may be watching and maybe they have someone that they're married to a significant other. And
Yeah.
can you offer any advice on how Mike has been able to be there for you and be supportive? Sometimes it's an art in knowing when to give you space. It's an art to knowing when to give you that hug, when to pray with you, when to let you cry in the arms. Is there any advice to a person who might be trying to be the support to someone going through what you're going through?
Yeah.
From your perspective, what can you share with them? Because sometimes people don't know what to say. They don't know what to do. You understand what I'm
Yeah.
saying? They don't
Yeah.
know how to console a person. Any advice on that?
Well, first thing is when Ciara died, the thing people would say to me is, let me know when if you need anything. And I had never been in that position, so I didn't know what I needed or how much of it I needed. So I remember just start by communicating how I felt.
Yes.
That was very important for me to tell him, I feel very low today. Rainy days were hard. Every time it rained, I cried, like literally all day. It was something about the rain. And so he knew on rainy days that, okay, he figured out his own rhythm. Like I'm going to do this for her or do that. And I remember one time, because he's an officer, I remember him one time he was going to work or coming home. I can't remember which transference, but I remember telling him, hey, I don't feel good emotionally. I need you to move your guns. It's not a good day. And for
Wow.
me to tell him that,
Wow.
he was
That's deep.
able to cover me.
Yes.
You know, sometimes when you're going through, you don't know what you need. So
Yes.
when these feelings arise, what I can offer to people is to be true to yourself. Don't
Wow.
act like you're strong. Don't act like the prayer all you need is prayer. You need to use all your resources. You need to use your whole village if possible. You need to go out and call those 911, those numbers. If you're feeling suicidal, you need, reach out. Even if this is say, I just need somebody to talk to. I just need somebody to sit with me. I did not do that. I just did not do that. And I submit to those who are going through, find your comfort, your support group. I remember going into support groups. I did do that, and that helped me become more vocal with my pain.
Right.
So we can't help folk if we don't know that they're hurting. And
Yes.
sometimes I think in our community, we are so prone to invisible wounds and not dealing with those wounds, and they spill out in everything, every area of our life. And so one of the things that taught me in grieving is know yourself, get to know yourself, because yourself is different. Your child is gone. You're not the same person you are without your child. You're a whole different person. And what that looks like, life without her. I had to create a whole new system without Ciara. And
You
so
know,
yeah.
that's powerful. You said something. You told your husband,
Yeah.
I'm having one of those days, remove your guns.
Yeah.
That's a big statement. That's not saying I'm feeling suicidal. That's saying, like, I don't know what I'm feeling. I don't know what I'm feeling. So I just need you to just move everything out the way. Because right now I'm going through, I'm still trying to figure this thing out. So if y'all heard her and you are in that position, recognize that it's okay to vocalize your true feelings and to be transparent, because transparency is going to help you to help others to help you.
Yeah.
Because if you don't vocalize it and speak to it, and then she said also she found a community of people going through the same thing.
Yeah.
Now, are there any things that, and this might be a different question, but are there anything that people should not say? Sometimes people they say the
Oh my
wrong
goodness.
thing. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
It's like,
we don't know.
or like, I mean, sometimes people don't mean it, but sometimes they say the wrong things,
Something that may be wrong for me may not be wrong for somebody else.
That's true.
Something that I may not appreciate, somebody else may appreciate. To me, for people to always tell me, "Oh, you're so strong. Oh, I know you're gonna make it through. You're so." I said, one more person. I mean, one more person tell me that I'm strong. I didn't want to hear about my strength because I knew that I was one moment from not being.
Yes.
And I needed to understand that they didn't mean no harm.
Yes. Yes.
They
Yes.
were
Yes.
looking at the Christ, or they
Yes.
were looking at the faith that they
Yes.
understood that I had.
Yes.
And I was not there. I was like, no, I'm looking at what I'm going through. To
Yeah.
tell you the truth. I mean, I know God is there, and I know the word of God is there, and I know how to pray and all of that.
Yes.
But the reality
Yes.
is sometimes we can't just pray over stuff.
Yeah. And let
Sometimes
me
you can't just, you use the scripture over everything without the works.
come
What
on.
are you doing
Come on.
to help with your deliverance? What are
Yeah.
you doing to help, with your healing? So there's certain things I had to do. I had to for me, I had to go to counseling. For me, I had to go to support groups. For me, I had to do, I had to learn how to do some things physically, like working out, just get that adrenaline going, releasing them endorphins so that I can feel better mentally. But the one thing that I learned to do was be kind to myself. Just
Give
go
yourself
easy.
grace.
Just go easy and give yourself grace. And that grace that I learned to give to myself, I have been able to extend to others. So that being strong, you're that strong person. That guy, oh my, yeah. I mean, it got it stirring. And another thing that really bothered me is and people say this, and they really do offer their condolences. I'm sorry for your loss.
That's like a popular
It
response.
is.
It's a
It
popular
sounds
response.
so. I don't even use it now.
Yeah,
I
I'm
don't
sorry for
say
your loss. You
but
have
there's
my
nothing wrong
condolences.
with it. People are really sorry for your loss. And that's what we say when you do lose someone. But now I've heard it so much. And even with my mom, I was like, oh my goodness, here we go. Here we go again. I'm sorry for your loss. It's just something. It's a trigger or something. I don't know. My condolences.
Yeah.
Sending you love, sending you hugs, and thinking of you,
Yeah,
praying for
that's a good
you.
one. Thinking of you, praying for you.
Yeah.
Or let me just have
I'm sitting in thoughts with you, or something that reminds me that you are with me.
Yes.
Instead of just saying I'm sorry for your loss. It is personal, but it can be impersonal to some people.
Yeah, I like that.
So that's some of the things I would say for me. Now, I'm not shunning anyone who said those things to me, by no means. And I'm not shunning anyone who continues to say those things. I'm just saying, for individuals, we don't know. Sometimes we're just being kind and showing love.
Now, one of the things that I've been through a lot of losses too. And, one of the things that I did that I recognize is I kept myself busy.
Yeah.
And you know what, Sharon, I recognize sometimes that I didn't really grieve that much. I mean, I didn't really give myself a lot of space to grieve because it got to be a lot, because I lost three major losses. And so that's how the Hope Catalyst actually came. That's how he birthed the Hope Catalyst, because that's how I dealt with it, by staying back. Because when you don't like your new normal, you got to figure out a way to deal with it, because it's different. It's different, But then later on, by me doing the things I do, having conversations like this, that's how I began to get my healing. So God works in mysterious ways. He does. He works in so many mysterious ways, because I didn't go to counseling. I didn't do that stuff, because life has a way of forcing us to get right back into our routine. Life sometimes doesn't. Some people don't have the luxury, or to take many days off, or many weeks off, or be retired, or have vacation time, or some people don't have that, and they just have to bounce back. They have to go to work and put on that face, because you know what the employees say: don't bring it to work.
Right.
And sometimes that could be kind of insensitive for some people. So
Yeah.
one of the things I want to say to you, if you are that person that you really don't have the time, or that you have just kept going and going and going, is hear what she said about stopping and giving yourself a little grace and pausing. Because if I had to do it all over again, I probably would slow myself down some, because it's important that you do
Yeah.
that, because you need that. You need
Mhm.
it. I got through it when I look back,
Mhm.
but I could have done it a little bit better so that it would be a little bit more healthy for me, you
Mhm.
know. So you really, really want to make sure that you're kind to yourself, and
Yeah.
if you don't have a relationship with someone, have a higher power, I would say find a way to get one, because that's going to really help you get through.
Mhm.
Would you agree, Sharon? I mean, because
I
I
would.
really say, if it had not been for the Lord, where
Yeah.
would I be?
Yeah. I would say that. And I would say that because it's more than a scripture I've read. I'm living the scriptures.
Yes.
When
Yeah.
you hit certain challenges in your life and you
Yeah.
knew you could have died in that thing, then you realize, oh no, I'm actually walking the scriptures out. I'm
Yes.
actually believing God in a different way with this right here, because each experience and each trial that you face, your faith level, is already there. You don't think it is, but I never thought I had the faith for what I'm going through, what I've experienced. But God did. He knew.
Yeah, because I'm gonna tell you, he knew that you were gonna have 3 categories where you were the top 100: grief and bereavement, survival, and the death and growth. And it's not nothing that she wanted, you
Yeah.
know what I mean? But God is now using your story for his glory.
Yeah.
He's using your story for his glory, and now you're taking your pain and you've turned it into purpose, and now you are being unselfish, and Ciara's light is shining bright. Let me just tell you right now,
Yeah.
Ciara's light is shining bright. You have given her life purpose, you know, as we try to find a way to land this plane, because there's so much depth into what we're talking about that we can go on and on and on. And I
Yeah.
want to be respectful of your time. I want to be respectful of your feelings and your story, But tell me, how did it feel the first time when you opened up that book? Because there might be someone out here that they might be inspired by you and say, you know what, maybe I need to get it out. Did writing it help you? Did it
Yeah.
help you in any kind of way that you would encourage someone that it might be an outlet to consider?
Yes. I wasn't a journaling person, but I found this app where you can talk into it and actually do journaling. And so that's how it kind of started. In my very early on, I was taking little, like if some sayings would come to me, I would jot them down in the first couple of years. But right before the leading to write, I was journaling um,
Yes.
and it just, I was like, you know, but when I started writing, when I actually started writing, I had to really digress and go all the way back to the beginning, because it was so important for people to know who Ciara was.
Yes.
The beautiful young lady she had grown into, the
Yes.
happy child hood she had. She was, my children were spoiled.
Yeah. Oh,
They were very blessed by their family. They had certain, routines and visitations and things all beyond. It was the whole community. My children were well loved, and I thank God for that. And so, with that being said, writing really was it was a disciplinary for me, because it made me have to sit down and put my feelings pen to paper.
mm-hmm.
And there were times like I would have to take a break. I was like, I can't do this, because the tears kept flowing. And I was like, man, I don't know if I'm gonna make it through the book. But as I began to press and lean in, words came, feelings came with the words came with the feelings. And so it was a purging experience to get all that out. I didn't know how much I was carrying, when I first had Ciara. I didn't know that I had a level of anxiety that I had never dealt with. I'm like, I'm monitoring that today, but and working through that. But I really had an issue with anxiety when I started having my babies, and it was just unusual how I loved Ciara and how I'm loving my son, because she was in the middle, and she was like the buffer. So as he was growing up, he would answer to her more than answering to me, And so now that when she left, I had to learn how to show up for him and support him. So all the writing in the book, it really opened me up to what was real, what I had gone through. You go through things, you're like, wait, did I actually experience all of this?
Wow.
And I was like, wow. So I read my own book. Reading the book, I was like, it was like reading about somebody else. And because I could not get it in my mind that this is something I had gone through and had written about.
Wow. Let me ask you this. And if anybody's out there that you want to say something to Sharon, if you want to give her your sentiments about anything, please do take a moment to let Sharon know right now. You can, if you put it in the comments, I will put up, if there's anybody out there, and Sharon, if there's anybody out there that you want to say thank you to, whether it's people who bought your book, anything like that, please feel free to do that as well, because we want you to do that. And we definitely want you to grab your copy, because you see now that it's going to a good cause. It's going to help her with the grief boxes and do what she does. But if you have any comment that you want to say to Sharon, or Sharon, any comment you want to say to the people who have, whether it's family, whether it's Mike, anyone, you can definitely take this time, whether it's Ciara Publishing for what they have done. Yeah. I want to give you that opportunity to do that. And if there's anything that I left out that you want to share, I want to give you that opportunity to kind of give closing remarks and tell the people anything that's on your heart that you want to say, because like I said, I want to be considerate of time. And I thank you so much for being here. And ladies and gentlemen, she goes into so many things in this book that it's really going to help you. Once again, even if it's not tragedy, this is going to help you. And Ciara Publishing, we definitely would recommend them. They I can say, for what I've seen, professional, and you definitely want to look them up if you are somebody. But I will give you the opportunity once again to say any words that you like to say, and kind of let us know if there's anything that I left out that you want to share.
Yeah. So I just want to really thank you, Crystal, for allowing me to be on the podcast. This is such a blessing to be able to sit and talk. I thought about being on podcasts many, many years ago. And so God is really good in allowing me to meet you and to be here. I think I do have a long list of thank yous, but I'll try to condense it. I want to thank my church and New Kingdom Church. I want to thank New Kingdom Church in Nightdale. They have been, the pastors and the church are such a wonderful body of believers. And my healing really, the embracement of the love that is there in that ministry, really, I walked in that ministry and they saw something in us, my husband and I, and it was just such a blessing. Another impartation of God's healing, connecting with those leaders and those members of the church. So I want to give a shout out to my church, New Kingdom, Nightdale, North Carolina. And I want to thank also my husband. He is just my bestie. I love him. And I thank God for him just holding my hand during this time. He didn't know how to deal with me. I didn't even know how to deal with me, but he found out a way. He sought the Lord, and he continues to seek God. Even coming on here today, he was over there in the corner praying, just praying, praying. And he's a praying man, and he prays, over me, and he covers me. He protects me. He makes sure that nobody gets on my nerves. So, or do me wrong, that's my policeman, my chauffeur. And he's just such a great person in my life, so soft spoken, and but yet a man who stands his ground and covers me. And I thank God for that. I thank God for my family, my siblings, my two siblings, and my brother, my two sisters. They are my ace, and I just thank God for them. They're here on the call, and they were waiting for me and rooting me on. Go big sister, go big sister. And so I'm grateful for my family. I'm grateful for my friends, those who are near and far, and those that just always there, picking up the phone call to call me, or just giving me encouraging message, during this time. Just even, I had one friend who came from Chicago and gifted me. I hadn't known her a long time, but her and her husband came and sat with me on some birthdays to honor Ciara's life. Those little things really, when you think of healing, it doesn't always come like in one lump. He gives us healings, he gives us blessings, little impartations at a time that bring a full manifestation of his healing to us. And so I'm grateful. I hope I didn't leave anyone out. I love my first family. I didn't even have enough time to get their pictures up, but my first family, the G family, I love them. I love them. So much. They called me during this time. They've bought my books, all the support from them buying my books, and just being here. I think I got my auntie on the call here on the podcast. And so I'm just grateful for all the love and support. I am grateful to Shiro, Dr. Erica Green, 100. She's a friend for life. She is definitely a new friend. I'm adding her check as a new friend. And so I'm just grateful. I am very thankful.
Wow. Yes, Dr. Erica Green is definitely one for the books. Very professional, very thorough.
Oh, and I wanted to thank one more other person, Alex. Yes. Alex, for doing my website. I made her work hard. But she's such a jewel, and I appreciate her. Thank you,
yes,
Alex.
Alex is the bomb. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are so excited that you have come and decided to join us today. Once again, you're watching Story Time, and we want to remind you to just take a look and make sure that you go support Sharon. You see now why she's doing it. We also want to remind you, while you're here, to take a moment and subscribe to the channel. If you've never been to Storytime before, subscribe to the channel. We definitely would like you to do that. You've been listening to our guests, Sharon and myself today, and we want you to make sure to come back again. And we hope that something that she said had blessed you today. We really do. We hope that something she said has blessed you today, because the purpose of this was just that. It was to share how she has managed to deal with a curveball. We get them. We get curveballs in our life, and they come, and we never know which way they're coming, and we be ducking and we be dodging, right? But we just have to take them as they come. And that's what she did. She took hers as she came. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are so excited that Sharon shared her story with us here. And we look forward to continuing to follow you and to see and to, it's a blessing. Reading this is a blessing. And I want to say something to you. Don't wait till you lose your loved one to share their story, to give them their glory, to spread their light. Right. Give them their flowers while they're still here. Yes. And I know you did that while your daughter was here. You did that with your children, but I just want to throw that plug in there. Yeah. Sometimes people wait. If you have the opportunity while you can, do it while you can. Please, please, please do it while you can. Mm-hmm. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get ready to get out of here so you can get ready for your work week. We love you. We thank you. My name is Crystal. And here on Storytime, what we tend to do is we tend to allow you to get inspired and empowered. Once again, we want to thank everybody who came by. Yeah. Catrice said, such a blessing to have a sister like you. I love you always. And that's a blessing. That's such a blessing. How much you pay her to say that?
I did.
And, she said, amen. All right, Priscilla said, continue to be a blessing to others. I love you dearly. That's so sweet. You got such
my auntie.
Oh, wow. And of course, so many people spreading their love. Rochelle sends you applause. Okay, definitely. So thank you all for sharing your comments to her and letting her know everything that you've been wanting to say, and giving her those words of encouragement. Thank you all for being here. We hope that you have taken time to subscribe to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. And we are going to be back on Wednesday. We're back on Wednesday, and Wednesdays at 8 o'clock and Sundays at 9 o'clock. If you have a story, please don't hesitate. Don't hesitate. We're here for you. Sharon, I love you. I appreciate you.
Love you too, Crystal. Thank you.
Thank you so much. You did good, girl. You did good. You did good. You got it. Is there anything out that we didn't get to? That any comments or anything? Or you good?
I'm good.
Ladies and gentlemen, Ciara's Light. Get your copy today. Help her to help grieving moms. Okay, help her to help grieving moms. My name is Crystal. I'm your Hope Catalyst. I say keep hope alive. My mission is to stir up the gift, instill hope, and save lives. On that note, I want to say good night. And don't forget, hit that subscribe button. We love you. Keep hope alive. See you on the next story time.
A catalyst for change with the chance to thrive. Crystal is the one to stir up gifts and save lives. You get exposure, promotion, and marketing too. And advertise for business owners just like you. On Storytime, your interview is global. Virtual or in person, just come on the show. Yo, your story matters. Crystals will open the door. 40 years of experience, ready to give you more on Storytime. Get ready for Storytime. Hey, come on.